They want to know in the first set if you can graph given an inequality. In the second set, can you write an inequality given a graph? All right. So it has n is less than or equal to 2. I'm going to start at the 2. Because I have the or equal sign right here, I'm going to use a closed circle. So I'm going to go to 2 with a closed circle. And is that sign telling me that n is smaller than 2 or bigger than 2? Smaller, so I'm going to go to the side that is smaller. All right. The same concept, you're just doing the opposite here. They've given you the graph. They want to know if you can interpret the graph. So we have some variable compared to the number -1. Is it smaller than -1 or bigger than -1? Smaller. So we're going to use less than. And then is it open or closed circle?
Open.
So we're going to leave it as just less than. If it were closed, we would put the or equal to piece of it. The first one I picked was number 13. You have two things going on here. You have an addition and you have a division. So we are going to do the subtraction of the 3 first. So I'm going to say -3, and I'm going to do that from both sides. On the right-hand side, it will cancel. 4 minus 3 is 1, and that is greater than k divided by 9. Since I am dividing, I will get rid of that 9 with multiplication, and I do that to both sides. So I end up with 1 times 9 on the left, or 9, and a k. So I know I'm going to start at the 9. Is it open or closed circle on the 9? Open. And then I need to know if k is smaller than 9 or bigger than 9. It's smaller. K is smaller than 9, right? And so I'm going to graph everything smaller than 9. All right, look at the next one. Number 17. For this one, I'm going to need to distribute first. So I'm going to distribute this 7 through. I will leave the left-hand side of this equation alone. I have -77 over here, greater than or equal to, and then I have 7 times n minus 7 times 5. All right, make sure you distribute correctly. You add 35 to both sides. All right, I have a -77 and a +35. What am I going to do there? So -77 and +35. Subtract and keep the sign of the larger, right? So 77 minus 35 is what?
42.
And that's going to be a -42. My last step here is to divide by 7. Now the 42 is negative, but the 7 is not. So what I'm dividing by is a positive, so I do not flip the sign here. I would only flip the sign if what I was dividing by was a negative. So -42 divided by +7 is -6, which is greater than or equal to n. So I'm going to go to -6. Am I going to have an open or closed circle? Closed. Is n bigger than -6 or smaller than -6? It is smaller than -6. So this first one is or. I'm just going to solve these individually, and then I'm going to graph them individually. So I have negative 9n is greater than or equal to 9, or 6 plus 9 is greater than or equal to 9. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 9. When I do that, I have an n. Because I divided by a negative, what happens here? I'm going to flip it, so that's less than or equal to. And 9 divided by negative 9 is negative 1. Over here, I just have to subtract 6. I'm going to get that n is greater than or equal to 3. Because this is an or problem, I can graph them individually. So I can go to the negative 1, open or close circle, and is n smaller or greater than? It's smaller. And then I'm going to go to positive 3, open or closed? It's closed. And is it bigger or smaller? It's bigger. N is larger. And that's my answer. So these are the written answers that I'm looking for, and this is the graphic answer that I'm looking for. So I am going to solve each piece individually. I'm going to start on the left. All right, so for this one, they're individual, and so we can do the left side. We're just going to subtract our 1 from both sides. On the left, we get 2x less than or equal to 21 minus 1 is 20. Divide by 2. We have x is less than or equal to 10. On the right, we're going to subtract the 8. We get negative 7x is less than negative 7. Divide by negative 7. We get x is greater than 1. All right? And so here is where you can write it all at once. So you can, at this point, 1 is less than x, 1 is less than x, and x is less than or equal to 10. All right? And so you can write your answer like this, and it shows you clearly how you're going to graph. So do your smallest, which is less than x, x is less than 10. So I will take it written like this with your and symbol, or if you push it together, I'll take it either way. When you graph it, you're going to see that you have a closed circle on 10 and everything that way. Open circle at 1 and everything that way, so you can see that you're going to graph in between them if you do it separately. If you put it together, you can see what it's going to do with the graph. Open circle at 1, closed circle at 10. So this is also an and. It's just all put together. It doesn't have the word and or the symbol. And so for this one, you can just solve leaving your v in the center. So we can leave the v in the center and move everything away from the center. So I'm going to move this 7 away, and I'm going to do it on all sides here. And so over here I have negative 97 and positive 7. That's going to give me what? Negative 90, less than or equal to 9. And then I have 65 plus 7. That gives me what? 72. And then my last step here is to then divide everything by that 9 that's with the v. So I'm going to divide everything by 9. Negative 90 divided by positive 9 is negative 10. I have the v by itself. And 72 divided by 9 is what? 8. All right. And so when it's already written like this, your answer will naturally come out like that with it all together. And so you can see 10 is going to have a closed circle. 8 is going to have an open circle. And I'm going to graph everything in between those two. So that's what my answer would look like. You're just going to solve these individually. So I want all of my k's on one side and all of my numbers on the other. So if I start with this one, then I am going to move my k's to one side. Just going to cancel on that side. And I am going to move my numbers then to the other side. And that will cancel on this side, less than or equal to 5. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this equation. So our inequality, I'm going to say 4 plus 7k is less than 5k plus 8. I'm going to move my variables to one side, which is going to cancel over here, give me 2k. And then I'm going to move my numbers to the other, which is going to cancel over here. Nothing changed there. And I have a 4. And then my last step is to divide by 2 for this one. So this is an OR problem, which means they don't have to go the same direction. So if I'm graphing k is less than or equal to 5 or k is greater than 4, it's 2. Is it? Yeah, y'all helping me out a little bit today? Thanks. So this one's 2. There we go. Negative. If it's like that, they can cross, they don't have to cross, like anything can happen with OR, and it's fine. So for the -5, we're going to do a closed circle and smaller. For the 2, we're going to do an open circle and larger. All right? That's fine for an OR. If this had been an AND problem, that'd be no solution, but OR doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter which way they go for OR. We're just going to graph it, and that's our answer. All right?